Do you know that you can manifest anyone or your desired person or your desired reality or your specific person, whatever you want to call it? And I have manifested two of my exes because I understood how our subconscious mind works. You yourself have been manifesting all along. Now, even if you would say like, I have been trying to manifest, but manifestation don't work for me. But trust me, you have been able to manifest people into your life and you have already done it. Now, the only problem is you have been looking at the physical manifestation. I want you to shift your focus and I want you to focus on emotional manifestation. And you are going to realize that you have manifested your emotions again and again. Now, the physical manifestation can keep changing. Your partner's faces can keep changing, but how they make you feel is exactly what you have been feeling all along in your life. So in this training program, I'm going to share my own experience, how I was able to manifest two of my exes back and how our subconscious mind works and how you can recalibrate your subconscious mind so that you attract exactly what you want to attract. Now, the first thing that I want you guys to understand so that we have a good foundation to build up on is that your subconscious mind is like an engine and it works like an engine. It is designed to manifest. Manifestation is your subconscious mind's natural way of processing, and it has been doing that since your birth. Now, let's understand this and then we can scale on it. You see, the subconscious mind is always manifesting. It operates automatically, not logically. It responds to emotional patterns, not conscious desires. Whatever dominates emotionally becomes reality. Now, I want you to reflect on your past relationships. And I want you to observe how each of those relationships ended or what was the final outcome of those relationships. And you're going to realize that there is a pattern over there. Now, this is something that happened with me as well. Now, this has happened with me several times. I was able to understand that a lot of the relationships that I was attracting in my life were a byproduct of what I was feeling inside already. So I was technically manifesting all those relationships into my life. The faces of the people kept changing. However, how they made me feel emotionally was consistent in all the relationship. And that's when I realized there is something going on inside my subconscious mind. I mean, what are the odds? All these different people kept changing. However, they kept making me feel the same way. It feels like a coordinated attack, but that's not how reality works, right? So I want you to think of your subconscious mind like an engine. And like an engine, the sort of fuel you put inside an engine will determine the sort of outcome that engine generates. The poor the fuel quality, the poor the engine performance will be. However, if the fuel quality is incredible, it's high octane. So what's going to happen is the engine is going to perform much better. That's how your subconscious mind works. The sort of emotions we feed to our subconscious mind is what our subconscious mind will keep manifesting. So I want you to pay close attention even to your past relationship, and you are going to realize that the emotional manifestation has kept happening again and again into your life. It's not about the physical manifestation. We are going to get to the physical manifestation part, but I want you to understand and establish this first. Emotional manifestation keeps happening again and again. So you manifest emotionally before anything appears physically. The subconscious does not process words or images, it processes emotional states, familiar feelings, nervous system patterns. Physical reality follows emotional familiarity. And this is one of the biggest findings that I had when I was trying to analyze my own relationship pattern. And I observed that anytime I would manifest a partner into my life, somehow they coordinated perfectly with how I was emotionally feeling right before that person manifested into my life. And that's when I realized the sort of insecurities that I had in my life were getting reinforced by physical manifestation of my partners. My partners were making me feel the same way that I was feeling deep inside. And I haven't shared my feelings with anyone. So how is that even happening? Now, to understand this, we need to understand how our subconscious mind starts manifesting things. It's not about emotions, right? Because it just can't be simply about emotions. But we're talking about emotional intensity because deep down, we have some positive emotions as well. We have some negative emotions as well. How come the negative emotions usually manifest more than the positive emotions? It is because of emotional intensity. You see, emotional intensity is like the fuel for your subconscious mind. And anything that goes inside your subconscious mind, any kind of information, along with emotional intensity, has a higher probability of manifestation. So let's understand this. The subconscious is activated by emotional intensity. Repetition strengthens patterns. Emotion installs them. Strong emotions equal to strong manifestation signal. So understand the cycle of subconscious manifestation. You have any kind of emotional intensity that goes inside the subconscious mind will manifest that into your physical reality. And once it is physically manifested, it will further strengthen and reinforce that emotional identity. So that means it becomes a loop. That's why a lot of us have been stuck in attracting same kind of people into our life because it's an emotional loop. The more you feel it, the more you attract it. The more you attract it, the more it reinforces the idea that this is what I emotionally deserve, and that's what you keep feeding the subconscious engine. And once I understood this, the realization hit me that my fears have been manifesting far more than all the good things that I want to manifest. And why is that? And by understanding how fears operate in our subconscious mind is when I discovered how I can manifest anyone into my reality. So let me take you through the same steps that I went through. You see, fears manifest because it carries emotional charge. It includes belief. It is mentally rehearsed. Fear is expectation with emotion. So understand this. There is a certain belief inside our fear. I want you to think of any of your fear. Maybe you have fear of spiders, or maybe you have fear of anything else. I want you to think of one of your fears. Now, let's suppose if you fear spiders, that means there is some kind of information inside this fear. And this information is your belief. That is, maybe spiders can harm me. Maybe spiders are dangerous. Now, once this information gets inside your subconscious mind with the emotional charge, because you fear it, and fear has a very high emotional charge. When this information enters your subconscious mind with the emotional charge, you keep manifesting that into your reality. And you might observe, if you fear spiders, somehow you will keep finding spiders every now and then. And I observed this even in my life. I used to fear cockroaches. And I observed that every time there was a cockroach around me, it would just run up to me, to the point that a lot of my friends were able to observe this, and they used to laugh a lot about it. And they would consistently say the more he fears cockroaches, the more cockroaches are attracted to him. And that is when, in that funny moment, I realized something very important. I was like, why are these cockroaches coming right at me? There are so many people sitting over here. How come I am the only one that this cockroach is trying to target? That is because my fears were manifesting. This was the tipping point for me to understand that there is something happening at a subconscious level that is making me a magnet for these cockroaches, and I don't want that. So I want you to understand fear is the most powerful form of manifestation fuel. Your fears will manifest faster than your desires. So by understanding fear, you can understand the manifesting mechanism. And once you understand this, you will be able to reverse engineer everything and manifest whatever you want. Because you see, hope and certainty works identically. The subconscious does not distinguish positive or negative. It only recognizes intensity and familiarity. Like I said, your subconscious mind will only manifest what comes with a higher emotional charge. And usually our fears have a very high emotional charge. And within our fear is some kind of a belief. There is some kind of an information. And when information is combined with emotional intensity and it goes inside our subconscious mind, it manifests. That means we also need to have certain understanding about where our beliefs are formed so that we can change our beliefs, we can transform our fear so that we can change the information and the emotional charge and that will make our subconscious mind manifest whatever we truly desire, right? So let's understand something about belief. Beliefs originate from childhood through repeated experiences, emotional conditioning, nervous system state. These form a predominant neurological state. Now, if you have been following my channel, I talk about this aspect in all my training program because this is the foundation of understanding how we manifest everything into our reality. You see, between the ages of 1 to 9, this is the time frame when our subconscious mind is developing. I want you to reflect on your life between the ages of 1 to 9, and you are going to observe that all the beliefs that you got within that time frame, all the emotional conditioning that you went through, somehow scripted your adult life. You kept attracting those kind of experiences into your adult life. And that is where I was able to understand that a lot of the experiences that I am going through in my adult life relationship are based upon what I went through between the ages of 1 to 9. That is my predominant neurological state. And I felt insecure in my childhood. And that is one of the biggest reason it became a part of my predominant neurological state. And that's what I kept manifesting in my adult life relationship. You see, the physical appearance of all my manifestations was different. The partners were all different. However, they all kept making me feel insecure about myself. How is that happening? This is because the subconscious recreates what feels familiar, not what the conscious mind wants. No matter how much I wanted to feel secure in relationship, the subconscious mind kept manifesting what it felt was really familiar. And what we are familiar with is our predominant neurological state. A lot of our familiarity is stored in our predominant neurological state. That is one of the biggest reasons when a lot of the people are trying to heal their subconscious mind, no matter what therapeutic modality you go for, they will all focus on experiences between the ages of 1 to 9 or your childhood because that's where our familiarity was developed. Now, once I understood that I have been attracting these kind of partners into my life because that's what I felt between the ages of 1 to 9. So I wanted to understand more about relationship dynamic. And I wanted to understand how can I break this relationship pattern so that I am able to attract a relationship into my life that is long lasting, sustainable, secure, and it makes me feel happy. And that's when I started understanding it is all based upon our very first relationship. The very first relationship that we form in this life is with our parents. And each of the parents have a very unique emotional signature, and their presence and our emotional attachment with them determines the sort of traits that we are going to attract in our relationship. And that was a game changer for me. So let me take you through some of the traits that I want you guys to analyze because when I did it, I was shocked. So your emotional connection with your father between the ages of 1 to 9 is going to shape few traits inside your subconscious mind or your familiarity with certain traits. Now, once I researched on these traits were self-esteem, self-worth, self-respect, self-confidence, and sense of identity. Now, these 5 traits, or what you can call even masculine traits, are dependent upon our emotional connection with our father. Now, if we had a good emotional connection with our father, all these 5 traits will be balanced. Our familiarity with all of these 5 traits will be balanced. And as a result of that, the sort of relationship we are going to attract in our adult life will be based upon the familiarity with these 5 traits. So we might be attracting a lot of relationship that make us feel confident about who we are, that make us feel like we are worthy of love, that make us feel respected. However, what if there was some kind of emotional disruption with your father and you have some kind of a father wound? Because I did have that. And I realized in all my relationship, I kept feeling insecure. So that means these 5 traits are not balanced inside of me. That's one of the reasons that I kept feeling insecure. So there might be a father wound. And that's when I started understanding how a father wound influences our relationship pattern. You see, unhealed patterns may appear as validation seeking, fear of rejection, overgiving in relationship. All the 3 things that I have been doing in all my relationships. Now, this completely blew my mind. And I was like, yes, I did have a very disruptive relationship with my father, but I realized as a result of that, I have been attracting relationships into my life where my behavior was consistent. I was always seeking validation because I felt insecure. I was always fearing that I might get rejected, and so I did. And I was always in the impression that if I overgive, they will see how worthy I am. But ironically, as a result of all of these three things, the pattern kept repeating again and again. It never fixed anything. It just made it more worse. Like I said, whatever you put inside your subconscious mind, it will manifest. And once it manifests, it will reinforce that emotional identity. And once that emotional identity was being reinforced by all these relationships, I kept feeling it more and more. The more I felt it, the more I attracted that. The more I attracted that, the more I felt that. And it was a loop. So once I understood that this was all because of my father wound, I also wanted to understand then what is the influence of a mother on our subconscious mind during the ages of 1 to 9, so that I can understand if my emotional traits with regards to a mother are balanced or not. And that's when I discovered the influence of a mother. Now, if you see, the influence of a mother helps us shape few traits as well. That is emotional expression, ability to receive love, nurturing, creativity, and spirituality. Now, all these five traits I observed that I had in excess. So, does that mean that I had a sort of a mother wound? Yes. But this is because I had a very disruptive relationship with my father. So, as a result, I was not getting that fatherly love. So, I relied overly on my mother. And I was overly attached to my mother. So, as a result of that, what happened is the five traits that are associated with the mother became excess inside of me. So that also became a sort of like a mother wound. And because of that, what happened in my relationship is I was emotionally dependent. So you might have observed if you had some kind of a mother wound, you might be emotionally dependent on your partner. I had fear of abandonment, difficulty feeling safe in love. All of this because I had all these mother influence traits in excess. Now, the father influence traits were in deficit, the mother influence traits were in excess. And that made my subconscious attraction blueprint in relationship. And based upon this, and once I reflected on all of these traits and I realized in all of my adult life relationship, I have experienced the excess of the mother influence traits and the deficit of the father influence trait, and I was blown away. So I want you to reflect on your past relationship, and I want you to apply this and observe if you can see a pattern. And you're going to observe that there is a pattern. And that pattern keeps repeating again and again. So once I was able to understand all of this, there is a very big realization that hit me. That is, your subconscious mind works like an algorithm. And how does it work? You see, the subconscious operates through emotional input, repetition, familiarity loops. It produces outcome automatically. Negative emotional states create repeated relationship pattern. This is automation, not self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is a result of this automation. So, if your subconscious mind works like an algorithm, it can be fixed like an algorithm. And how can we do that? Now, these are the steps that I took and that made me manifest my access back. I wouldn't recommend that. That was my experiment. I wanted to experiment. What happens if I get inside my subconscious mind with this understanding and start playing with my subconscious mind? And I was able to manifest two of my access just by understanding how the subconscious algorithm works. So let's get started. Now, the first thing is breaking the relationship loop. You see, the subconscious needs interruption to recalibrate. Taking a break from relationships stops emotional reinforcement, reduces pattern repetition, creates emotional neutrality. Neutrality allows rewiring. Now, this happened in my relationship. You guys would be stunned that between the ages of 16 and 30, I wasn't even single for one single day. That's how much emotionally dependent I was. I wasn't even single for one single day, and in between this time I had like 4 or 5 relationships. I'm saying 5 because I was friend zoned once. So what happened is I was consistently depending on someone else to fulfill my emotional needs. I was seeking validation, and if you observe, one after the other I was in a relationship that reinforced my emotional wound. And the more my emotional wound got reinforced, the more I kept attracting same kind of partners. So one thing that I understood was that I need to take a break. The first thing is you need to interrupt your subconscious algorithm by taking a break. Stay away from relationship. Even if you have someone special in your life and things haven't been working out, take a break. Trust me, taking a break will fix it rather than forcing or chasing them will just ruin it completely. So what happens is once you take a break, that loop that you have, that emotional loop inside your subconscious mind will break because you are no longer feeding your subconscious mind the emotional wound, and your reality is no longer manifesting your emotional wound, so it is not reinforcing the same emotional identity. So take a break that will allow your subconscious algorithm to calm down, and that interrupts your subconscious algorithm. Now, once you do that, take a break for a month, 2 month, 3 month. I would highly recommend take an year because that's what I did. You don't have to take an year long break if you don't want to. I did it because I was still researching on my subconscious mind, trying to understand. Now I can do it in less than 15 days, and that's why I have my 15 days instant healing program, because you can do it in 15 days if you know exactly what you need to do. The most important part is, what do you do in this break? Now, in this break, what you're going to do is you're going to be recalibrating the attraction blueprint. That's exactly what I did. That's what helped me manifest my desired relationship and even 2 of my exes. Now, let's understand how do we do that. You see, change occurs by healing father related emotional wounds, healing mother related emotional wounds, regulating the nervous system. So, I want you to imagine this. If any kind of father wound has disrupted the father influence traits, and if a mother influence wound has also disrupted mother influence traits, so that means if we heal our father wound and our mother wound, all the traits that are associated with either of the parents will become balanced. They are not balanced as a result of our parent related wound. So that means if we heal them, all those traits will become balanced. That is one of the biggest reasons. When people heal their father or mother related trauma, they end up attracting healthy relationship into their life, because the best way to interrupt your emotional loop is by healing. The moment you heal, you stop feeding your subconscious mind negative emotional intensity. You are not feeding your subconscious mind your fears that originated from your childhood. And once your subconscious mind is not being fed with all this negative neurological state, that means it is being fed with all the positive neurological state. And that's what your subconscious mind will now manifest. Now, if you observe, any kind of father wound or mother wound will create trauma bond. That means all the bonds that you establish in your adult life will be based upon the trauma that you got from your father or your mother. And that is what we call trauma bonding. That means all the relationship that you have will reflect your childhood trauma. So once you heal your father wound and your mother wound, this shifts attraction from your trauma bonding will now become emotional safety. That's exactly what I experienced. Survival attachment will become secure connections. And this was the biggest success in my story. And this was the biggest game changer for me. Once I healed my father wound and my mother wound, I had a very secure attachment style. Now I wanted to play with the idea of manifesting my ex. So I understood how the subconscious algorithm works. We attract what we are familiar with. So I analyzed my exes and I was like, okay, if I want to manifest this person into my reality, I need to be the sort of a person that they would want to be with. That means I need to have more emotional familiarity with the traits that these people are attracted to. And that's what I did because I understood instant healing hypnosis. With instant healing hypnosis, you can get inside your subconscious mind. You can change any kind of neurological state or remove any kind of trauma. And you can just alter any neurological state inside your subconscious mind in less than 2 to 3 minutes. So I was like, let's give it a shot. And that's what I did. And I was able to attract my ex two times. The first time I was able to attract my ex, she came into my life. I was very excited. I was like, maybe this is going to work out. But the harsh reality of manifestation is if you have healed, but the person that you're trying to manifest has not healed yet. No matter if you are able to manifest them back into your reality, they will mess up the same way that they did before. And that relationship will once again not work out. But the best part was, I felt no emotional pain when I lost her the second time because now I have become an instant healing hypnotherapist. I can get inside my subconscious mind, remove any kind of pain in less than 2 to 3 minutes. So I didn't feel any kind of pain. But the second time I was trying to manifest an ex, I was trying to work on a particular theory. And that theory was, what if I try to attract this person and then I can subconsciously influence my ex into healing? And I did that. And it worked. But once again, you cannot influence someone into healing if they do not want to. So I realized something very important. It's not about the physical manifestation. It's about the emotional manifestation. The reason why I wanted to manifest my ex was because I felt if I could manifest them back, and if I had them in my life, they would make me feel certain emotions that I want to feel. So the outcome that I want is actually that emotional manifestation. However, I have become so fixated on one particular person is the reason that I'm unable to get that emotional satisfaction. That's when I stopped focusing on who and I started focusing on what I want to manifest. And that was a game changer for me. So once I stopped focusing on who and started focusing on what, I started attracting people into my life who made me feel emotionally satisfied. And that reinforced my emotional identity. So once I was done healing, I also understood something very important. That is, a lot of us sit in a room, try to manifest, and think that the whole world is going to change. However, you need to understand how your subconscious mind works. If you remember, you feed your subconscious mind the fuel, which is emotional intensity. Your subconscious mind will manifest that into your reality, and that reality will make you behave in a particular way. That means you will take certain actions, and those actions will reinforce that emotional identity. So, taking inspired action is another major step for manifesting whatever you truly want. So, reinforcement through inspired action. Subconscious change requires reinforcement. Inspired action feels calm and aligned. It is not driven by fear or urgency, supports emotional safety. Each aligned action strengthens positive neural loops. Now, in one of my clients' cases, when I healed her father wound, the instant healing hypnosis technique that I use is where I take you to a part of your subconscious mind to remove any kind of negative block or your subconscious trauma. And the way the subconscious mind works is it reveals certain lessons. Once your subconscious mind reveals these lessons become very crucial. You need to start taking inspired actions so that these lessons can be practiced into your life. Now, the lesson that her subconscious mind revealed to her was that she needs to start feeling more worthy of who she is. She needs to become more self confident. And I asked her, what kind of activities can you do in your daily life that will make you feel those emotions? And she was like, I want to play table tennis. I was like, great. So playing table tennis will trigger this neurological state. And she started playing table tennis. And lo and behold, in 3 months' time, she was able to manifest her desired SP, all by playing table tennis. Now, table tennis has nothing to do with attracting your SP, but the very act of playing table tennis made her feel neurological state that she wanted to attract in a relationship, and that's when she started attracting what she wanted. That's how your subconscious mind works. You see the beauty of your subconscious mind? It is already manifesting. It is a manifesting engine. What you feed into it is what you are going to manifest, and what you manifest will reinforce your emotional identity. So you need to break your old emotional loop, which is based upon your traumas. And once you break that, you can begin forming new emotional loop, which is positive, which is healthy, which is filled with love and harmony. And to do that, you need to first of all become aware that you have a pattern. Two, take the step to heal your father wound and your mother wound. Three, take inspired actions. So the core principle that I want you guys to take away from this training program is you do not attract what you want, you attract what feels familiar to your nervous system. Change emotional familiarity, reality reorganizes. I hope that this training program opens your eyes to the world of possibilities, and I hope that you realize that you have immense power inside your subconscious mind and you can completely transform your reality if you choose to take the action. I'll see you guys in the next video. Up until then, stay happy, stay blessed, and keep healing. Bye bye.